There's a point I want to make clear at the start of this episode. Agentic SDLC isn't software you buy. It's not a platform, it's an architecture.
What's the difference?
A platform is something you install. An architecture is a way of organizing several things. Agentic SDLC, in practice, is the integration of 4 layers that need to work together. If you only have one or they don't talk to each other, you don't have Agentic SDLC.
Let's walk through the 4.
The first one is the execution layer, the specialized agents that do the work. Generate code, create and run tests, analyze system behavior, monitor performance, do security checks.
Kind of like the tools we already know.
But with an important difference. Here, those agents don't operate in isolation. They're part of a larger system. The output of one isn't a final deliverable. It's input for the next evaluation cycle.
And above that layer?
The second layer is orchestration and coordination. This one is the heart of the system. It manages how agents interact, how tasks are sequenced, how decisions propagate through the system. Makes sure dependencies are respected, that work moves forward coherently, that the system adapts to context change.
That's where the agentic bus comes in, from episode 4.
Exactly. Think of the agentic bus as the central nervous system. The agents communicate through it, the state of the system is maintained by it, the workflows are managed by it. Without this layer, you just have agents floating around.
And the third layer?
Data and context. Good decisions require accessible, current, and relevant information. That includes technical data, code, test results, system metrics, and also business context, requirements, priorities, user feedback.
Context is what makes the agent useful.
Context is what makes the agent useful. Without context, it's just a statistical function. With context, it can make decisions that actually fit the real problem, and that context has to be persistent. It has to span interactions. The paper calls it shared memory.
And the fourth?
Governance and control. Make sure the system operates within defined boundaries. Security policy, regulatory compliance, alignment with organizational standards. In the traditional SDLC, governance is external, done through manual gates and separate review. In Agentic SDLC, it's embedded.
Embedded how?
Agents are configured to enforce rules continuously at the moment the work is being done. It's not now we review compliance. It's compliance is being verified all the time, on all work. That drastically reduces latency without losing control.
And how does observability fit?
Observability is critical. In a system where decisions are distributed and continuous, you need visibility into how those decisions are made and how work flows. Metrics like flow efficiency, decision latency, work distribution across stages. All of that has to be visible in real time.
Otherwise, you lose control of the system.
Otherwise, you lose control. And here's an important point. This architecture isn't meant to replace the tools you already have. It's meant to integrate and elevate them.
Explain that.
Coding tools, testing frameworks, deployment pipelines, design tools, all of that continues existing and remains essential. The difference is how they connect. Instead of operating as independent solutions, they become part of a unified system that manages end-to-end flow.
So it's an integration effort, not a replacement effort.
It's integration. And that's why this is a journey, not a purchase. You start by introducing orchestration around what you already have. You gradually increase the level of integration and automation. As trust in the system grows and decision criteria become more formalized, more aspects of the lifecycle can be delegated to agents.
The architecture evolves alongside the organization.
Evolves alongside. And that's the part that most often stalls big companies. Which is exactly what we're discussing in the next episode. How to get out of pilot mode and reach enterprise scale.
See you there.